Mason, Ohio. The Lindner Family Tennis Center is empty now. The sea of Philippine flags that had waved so passionately for days has disappeared. The chants of Eala, that echoed through the venue have faded into a painful silence. Alex Eala, the 21-year-old Filipina sensation who had captured the hearts of millions, has just suffered her first loss in 9 matches. She has fallen to Amanda Anisimova, the world number 10, in a heart-wrenching 3-set battle that stretched well past midnight. The dream was over. The Cincinnati Open run had come to an end. And as Eala packed her bags and prepared to leave, the Filipino fans who had traveled thousands of miles to support her broke down in tears. This is the story of that heartbreaking loss. This is the story of the fans who refused to stop believing. This is the story of how Alex Eala lost a match, but won something far greater, the hearts of a nation. Loudly crying face Philippines. Before the heartbreak, there was the dream. Alex Eala's run at the Cincinnati Open was nothing short of spectacular. She had entered the tournament as the number 17 seed, her highest seeding in a WTA 1000 event. She had already won her first WTA Tour singles title in Washington, defeating world number 3 Jessica Pegula in a thrilling final. She had reached the 4th round of Wimbledon. She had climbed to a career-high number 18 in the world. She was riding a 9-match winning streak, including 5 consecutive victories over top 10 opponents. But Eala's impact extended far beyond the tennis court. She had become the biggest draw in women's tennis, perhaps in all of tennis. In Toronto, she sold out stadiums. In Cincinnati, tickets for her matches vanished in hours. The Filipino community had turned out in full force, creating an atmosphere that even the most experienced players found overwhelming. "I know how loved Alex is," Anisimova would later say. And for good reason. Eala's first 2 matches in Cincinnati were dominant. She defeated Elena Gabriela Ruse after Ruse retired due to injury. The victory set up a showdown with world number 10 Amanda Anisimova, a 2-time Grand Slam finalist who had been watching Eala's rise with keen interest. The stage was set for their first ever meeting on the WTA Tour, and the tennis world was watching. The match against Anisimova was a roller coaster of emotion. Eala, playing with the confidence of a player who had already defeated Iga Swiatek, Jessica Pegula, Coco Gauff, and Elena Rybakina, came out firing. The first set was a battle, with the 5th game alone lasting 20 minutes and featuring 13 deuces. Eala broke Anisimova in the 10th game to take the set. The Filipino crowd erupted. The dream was alive. But Anisimova, the number 9 seed, was not intimidated. The American star had promised to thrive off the energy of the packed stadium. And she did. The second set was a turnaround. Anisimova broke Eala in the 7th game and held on to win. The match was level. The tension was unbearable. The third set was a nightmare. Eala broke Anisimova in the opening game and moved ahead. The crowd roared. The flags waved. But then, the momentum shifted. Anisimova stormed back, winning 6 consecutive games to close out the match. Eala's 9-match winning streak was snapped. Her 5-match winning run against top 10 opponents had come to an end. The stadium fell silent. The sea of Philippine flags that had waved so passionately now hung still. The chants of Eala, that echoed through the venue faded into silence. And in the stands, thousands of Filipino fans began to weep. They had come to witness history. They had come to celebrate their hero. Instead, they watched as she walked off the court, her head bowed, her heart heavy. The scenes in the stands were heartbreaking. Fans who had traveled from across North America to support Eala were in tears. One group of fans had reportedly planned a college reunion around a trip to Cincinnati specifically to watch Eala play. Another supporter had followed Eala at the National Bank Open in Toronto before making an 8-hour drive to Cincinnati for another chance to see the Filipina star in action. They had spent hundreds of dollars on tickets, hotels, and travel. They had waved their flags until their arms ached. They had chanted her name until their voices gave out. And now, they were crying. "Hindi ko maintindihan," one fan said, her voice trembling. "She gave us everything. She fought so hard. She deserved to win. But sometimes, the game is just cruel." Another fan, a man who had driven from New York with his family, stood in stunned silence. "I've never cried over a tennis match before," he said. "But today I cried. Because she is not just a tennis player. She is our pride. She is our hope. And seeing her lose like this, it hurts. Even the players recognized the impact. Anisimova, the woman who had ended Eala's run, spoke about the atmosphere with admiration. There was quite a bit of support for me tonight, so I really appreciate that, because I know how loved Alex is, she said. And for good reason. The tears were not just about the loss. They were about everything Eala represented. They were about a nation that had been overlooked on the world stage. They were about a people who had been told they were too small, too poor, too insignificant to compete with the giants of the world. But Eala had changed that narrative. She had shown the world that Filipinos could compete on the global stage, that Filipinos could succeed, that Filipinos could be champions. And now, her run was over. The loss to Anisimova was heartbreaking, but it was not the end. It was a chapter in a story that is still being written, a story of resilience, determination, and national pride. Eala will learn from this defeat. She will work on her weaknesses. She will come back stronger. And she will continue to inspire millions. Her Cincinnati campaign provided valuable preparation ahead of the U.S. Open, the final Grand Slam of the year. She is projected to be a top 20 seed at the event. She is also scheduled to compete in the mixed doubles alongside Felix Auger-Aliassime. The journey is far from over. As Eala herself said after her Washington title win, "Standing here in the middle of all this love, I knew that whatever would have happened after this match, it would have already been a win for me." That sentiment remains true today. She lost a match, but she won the hearts of a nation. The Filipino fans who broke down in tears in Cincinnati will not stop believing. They will continue to follow her. They will continue to wave their flags. They will continue to chant her name. Because Eala is not just a tennis player. She is a symbol of hope, a symbol of resilience, a symbol of the indomitable Filipino spirit. The tennis world is watching. The fans are believing. And Eala is just getting started. From the cracked courts of Quezon City to the sold-out stadiums of Toronto and Cincinnati. From the cover of Forbes to the bright lights of the U.S. Open. Her journey has defied every expectation. This is not the end. This is only the beginning.